Alright, sorry for that delay. If anyone is still here, we're going to go ahead and start in with the update. This update, I wasn't quite expecting it to be as small as it was. The main stuff included in it was a 2x gems event and a few bug fixes, so nothing really big for covering in stream. But I guess with the 2x gem update, wow. I'm thinking that we might go ahead and try grinding for a glitchy rift gum, or trying to get one, since we do have quite a few loot bags that we could use if we did manage to get one of those. Mainly anonymous. Yeah, it's going to be interesting if there's an event soon. I'm not really expecting an Easter event, although I know they've always done one in the past. Honestly, I'd be kind of surprised if we had any events this year. I don't know if I really would count the 100th update event. But anyways, I think now that we've kind of got the intro out, hopefully, we're going to go head over to a private server, just to grind for gum without having to compete with other people. Hello. Yeah, I was planning to stream for right when the update dropped, but turned out that this update wasn't actually as big as I was expecting, or didn't actually have any content to cover whatsoever in the update. For instance, if we go take a check on the about, 104 included 2 pets, 2 boards, which basically comprises these 3 things in the shop plus 1 code, which actually, if you guys haven't entered the code and aren't following, you guys can go ahead and enter the code NIGHT. Wow. Night pup. Yeah, text entering wasn't working, and you guys will get yourself a nice godly. If you guys haven't entered all the 2 years code, you could probably use both of these two. Oh, those are ridiculous stats for a code pet. Like that's even better than encryption. So this is a new best pet from a no wait, not quite new, but it's going to be the best stats you can get from codes. So if you guys are playing this in the next 2 weeks, go ahead and enter this code, and this will really boost your progression of the game quite a bit. It's kind of ridiculous how much pets have really scaled up. Anyways, now that we've gone over that part of the update, which was literally probably half the update, just adding that singular code item, we're going to go ahead over to Backdoor and hopefully grind for a glitchy rift gum. I know glitchy rift gums can take a lot longer than I'm probably going to end up doing. I think it was usually around 10 hours of grinding for one, maybe more. But we're going to hope for the best. Main thing, since we do have a 2x gems event this whole weekend, is if we do manage to get it, we will be getting a few billion gems, which will allow us to go ahead and get cosmic wings. At least one, maybe more, but yeah, that's the plan. If lag allows us to. I know Ghost Simulator can be quite laggy sometimes with how much local stuff it has going on to make everything sort of sync well. I know that's a big thing that I've been realizing. There's a lot of client-side stuff going on Ghost Simulator to make the experience feel nice, but it really does use up a lot of your in-game resources. Mainly, one of the things I want to point out that's quite one of the things that you guys never really think about, but probably plays a big part of the amount of resources Ghost Simulator uses, is having this client side being able to target these ghosts so cleanly. That's a lot of coding if you do any bit of experience with Roblox, you know that doing client and server side, having them on the same page is kind of difficult. Or like any coding in general, just doing that. So not too much of a surprise that there's lots of laggy stuff. I kind of wish it wasn't as laggy, but make do with what you have. You can't even get 10 million gems. I have guides that can help you if you are trying to get like classifieds for stuff. I think the main thing is currently for getting lots of gems would be going for a few like 10 plus rebirths. Would probably be the easiest way for most people to get tons of gems. But yeah, getting gems early game can be kind of hard, and even more annoying is that you can't really use gems for anything useful early game. The best stuff for like crates that you can get reasonably is going to be like those godlies, which are still 1 in 250 or so chances. And then those stats aren't even better than code pets, so there's really no reason to worry about gems too much for like really anyone in Ghost Simulator, to be honest. Hello. Yeah, I was making a video. I was going to do a stream on the new update, but it's kind of bland. So main thing was to try to take advantage of the one thing that we do have going on in this. Is going to be a gem event right down there, and we're going to hopefully be able to we're going to grind at least a little bit on stream and then maybe some more off stream for a glitchy rift gum, which combined with this and a lot of other gem boosts can hopefully get us a few billion gems to go for a classified potentially. But yeah, it wasn't too big of an update, so not too much is going on. I was actually doing a little bit of grinding. It looks like I fell off the leaderboard recently. But I was doing a little bit of grinding earlier today for some gums, so not too much difference from what I started the day with. But yeah, this is my favorite route for grinding gum in Backdoor. I think it's probably the best one, just all things considered. But gum grinding is probably one of the most broken things for people with game passes at this point in the game. The latest update, or one of the most recent updates to Ghost Simulator, basically doubled, a little less than doubled for some, the drops from ghosts in the Backdoor, which basically means you can grind gum like 2 times faster than you used to, which doesn't sound too bad, and actually for new players that don't have game passes is quite helpful for progressing through Backdoor. But for people like me who already have like game passes and really good grinding strats, it more or less makes gum grinding way too easy. So yeah, like we'll probably be grinding for 10 gums at a time before each conversion, and we'll probably get around 2 glitchy boss gum each time, which I'm not really planning on using anywhere, but will be helpful if I ever decide to go back to grinding the final boss. Overcharge didn't decide to work. Yeah, streaming and also playing Ghost Simulator, which is normally quite laggy, is not always the best on my efficiency for grinding, so be aware that I'll be making quite a few mistakes in my run. I think earlier today when I was grinding, I almost never missed a cycle on this, and so far we've done 2 runs and we've been very far off making both of them. Should I get batteries first or disruptors first in Backdoor? My opinion would be in most cases going for batteries first, since ghost respawn times always remains the same regardless of how fast your pet speed is. But I know sometimes people do have low pet speed for the first time when they are in Backdoor, so you may want to do your disruptor first. I would recommend Battery, but that's coming from a high stat player who never really worries about how fast they vacuum stuff. I would say that, though, since most people at this point are running code pets, recent code pet, and then probably 2 years at the minimum, but maybe also a few other godlies from recent update codes, will probably be fine just aiming for batteries and then disruptors, but yeah. This is what I'm talking about with lag. I wouldn't get this much lag. I still get some when I'm playing, like, not during a stream. But this much lag is usually only when I'm streaming, where I'm getting, like, this 4-5 FPS. It really detracts from the amount that I can grind. Hopefully we still are able to go get that overcharge in the Agent's HQ this gum, but, you know, who knows. Lag could always hit a lot harder and make us not be able to. Hello, just doing some gum grinding, hopefully to get a rift gum. I know getting a rift gum probably won't happen this stream. People say it's usually around 10 to 20 hours worth of grinding for a rift gum. And we're only going to be doing like 2, so that's like a 1 in 5 chance of us actually getting a rift gum, but yeah. Hello! Recent update to Ghost Simulator wasn't too big, so there's not really anything to actually cover on this stream, so it's kind of devolved into gum grinding. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and grab the anonymous, since having a few more anonymous loot bags won't hurt if we do get a rift gum. And if we don't get a rift gum, having something from this stream rather than nothing is going to be a small improvement. My day wasn't actually too bad. Yesterday I was having, like, I don't know, I was not having too much fun. It was, even though I had like tons of free time, so I was kind of in a bad mood or something yesterday, and I was kind of expecting that same for the first part of today before I could actually start the stream, but I managed to not have that problem. Maybe playing some random Roblox games helped, maybe not. Maybe it was just woke up on the right side of the bed with enough sleep today. But whatever the case is, today was much better than yesterday in terms of just, like, mood. Which is nice. Let's see. Hopefully I'm kind of hoping that slideshow of the pets/boards going on in that upper corner isn't distracting too much from my resources. I wouldn't expect it would, but I never really know when it comes to, like, OBS and stuff. I think it's worth it for keeping the stream a little bit more random, I guess. Since we are going to be doing quite a bit of the same gum grinding strategy just over and over again today. I'll try to mix in with some conversion, but we'll see. Yeah. FPS. I'm sure my FPS average over once we finish the stream will probably be no higher than like 15. Usually it's sitting right around that 20 in Ghost Simulator when I'm not streaming, so it's not too much of a surprise. Ghost Simulator is quite laggy, and my computer's nowhere near the best. Yeah, today was actually surprisingly nice, as I was saying. Hopefully other people are having a good day too. I know recently I've been kind of in a stale, I guess would be the best way. Not really wanting to do anything new, but also not really liking what I'm doing. So hopefully you guys are having a nice or better day today than yesterday. What did this update do? This update of Ghost Simulator was actually really small. It consisted of updating the limited store, which happens every update, and then also just adding a 2x gems event. So there's literally nothing going on in this update. It was super small. There were like 1 or 2 bug fixes I was seeing. One being you no longer will spawn occasionally inside the island of Ghost World, hopefully. And I think one more that I didn't particularly care to remember, since I don't think I've ever experienced it. But it was a really small update. And we're trying right now to get a glitchy rift to hopefully take advantage of the fact that there's a 2x gems event, since we have a few bags to use. But we'll see. We'll see. That probably won't actually happen. It's more of just filling the stream with something rather than jumping in for 5 minutes being like, oh yeah, we got a nothing update, and then stopping the stream. Since that would have been what would happen if I actually decided to cover the content of the stream or the update. Hello in chat. I wonder when Easter event will begin. I think the bigger question is whether or not Ghost Simulator will actually have an Easter event this year. I know last 2 years the main reason they had an Easter event was because they were participating in some Roblox events. But this year they've been working on quite a few other games. I think they said 1 or 2 of their working on one or two of the 3 games that they're currently working on and plan to release this year. So they may not have time to actually do an event. And honestly, with Ghost Simulator slowing down, I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't actually have too many events this year. Yeah, I definitely need a lot of luck to actually end up getting that gum. So hopefully the update isn't too bad for you. I know personally I'd never really like these kind of small updates, although I do know the devs really need them for their rest. So in that fact, they're good. But I feel like filler events are just bland in a game and probably should be patched over instead of being like made events. Just have certain updates to the game itself to make the game easier rather than just making easy events like this. Yeah, oh, we completely missed our cycle. I was reading chat. I think walking to the ghosts instead of riding your hoverboards will gather some extra time for the ghosts to respawn, so you don't have to wait for them to respawn. I mean, yeah, but then you're just moving the time that you're wasting from waiting at the ghost to moving to the ghost, which doesn't do anything if you understand how that math works. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say there, but like that literally does nothing to the problem. But yeah. Honestly, though, it's more of your own opinion when it comes to selecting what to upgrade. I know my preference has always been to go for the battery first, and that's mainly been because I've always generally had good stats in the game. Like, even when I first started out, I got really lucky in my first crate and not my first crate, but like my 13th crate and managed to get like a dragon from the first boss I did where I got my first crate key. It was a ridiculous sequence of events. But ooh, that overcharge was horrible. I don't know what's going on with that lag. I know sometimes the overcharge happens but doesn't show that it happens, or vice versa. It can be kind of weird, but I don't know how we only managed to get a single group of ghosts with the overcharge. So let's see. But yeah, even then I was kind of during my first few weeks, maybe I don't really know how fast my first time playing through Ghost Simulator went. But I remember getting some overseers, which were really good limited store code pet, or not codes, but just limited store pets, trading for like 1 or 2 of those early game. And those more or less carried me through the rest of the game stat-wise, until like I got better pets from the mythicals from the Easter and Christmas event, I think. But yeah. My favorite pet is probably purple. Just because of how it fits my sort of style. I like stuff being simple, so having a very simple pet with a very simple name that's also purple, which is my favorite color, really is awesome. As for my board, I know I could say something like another purple theme, but I think in general, I think it would be Santa's sleigh. Um, let's see, this one. It's an old board. It's a mythical. I really like that event. I think I don't really remember playing it too much, but it also allows you to glitch into weird spots. I could actually go there. There's one spot here in Backdoor that's really fun. I guess it's more of a pranky spot, but you can do a few weird stuff with that board, which does give it a little bit more use than most boards. It does kind of get annoying if you have it equipped while grinding, since it is so big. It just kind of gets in the way when you're trying to move places. But yeah, talking about getting in the way, the lag is not helping. I think I just answered that question with Santa Sleigh. I'm assuming you actually asked that before, and just like stream delay or something has caused it, so it looks like for me, you asked it like right after I answered, which is kind of interesting. But yeah. I only started playing a few months ago, and it makes me sad that I missed so many cool events. Oh yeah, I know exactly what that feeling is. You feel like you missed out a lot, even though there's nothing you could have done, really. Basically, any game you get into, you'll have that problem where you're both you feel like you should have played longer, but then you also end up not doing so much when you first start playing the game, and then you regret not playing as much when you first started playing. It's just one of those things where you have to realize you can't really change the past too much, and in general, the past doesn't matter too much. So you can just kind of not worry too much about it. But yeah, I know that feeling, missing old stuff and really kind of wishing you were there for him. It's interesting to see people that have joined recently. I know, like, Discord-wise, most of the people I see have been playing for, like, a year or two and are starting to fade out. So seeing people that are actually new to the game and quite enjoying it is kind of cool. It would be nice if there were some, like, better bug patches, I guess, and more stuff to do endgame-wise. I feel like endgame's a little bit stale as is, but it's good to see that new people are having some fun. Yeah, the 100th update party event thingy, it was interesting. I wouldn't call it really an event per se, since it was mainly just following a lot of random quests for main hub stuff, but it definitely allowed some players to get a decent start with giving some stats. And since it did have some boosted gums, that was also, I guess, a pretty interesting part, but in general, I'd say it wasn't really too big of a thing. I think the bigger events to miss would have been some of those early ones. Dino event and space event, I know I didn't manage to hit, but like the Halloween 2019 event was such a big event and it was so fun. I kind of feel bad for the people who ended up missing it. I kind of wish I played some more on it, but the 150 keys I did manage to grind that event took me so long, so it's kind of nice that I didn't spend that long playing, but who knows. Alright, I guess once we finish this, we'll go ahead and turn in the items that we have so far. We'll probably get around 120 or so, I would guess. Gum? It's hard to tell. I'd usually say a little bit more than that, but with the amount of lag we've been getting, I wouldn't be surprised if it was lower than 120. But it's kind of ridiculous how fast it is to grind gum. And also the amount of gum I have is also pretty ridiculous. There's a reason I do giveaways in my Discord server. It's glitchy loot gum is ridiculously easy for people like me with both the ×2 drops and lots of end game stuff to grind gum. How can you equip gum and how does it work? Basically, it's a hot gum hotkey, and you get it from completing Grand's questline in the Area 51 area. And it basically allows you to either press the button or click T to activate a gum without having to access your inventory. It really speeds up grinding like a whole lot. It's probably the best recent addition to Ghost Simulator, I think, unanimously. I think most grinders would agree with that. It isn't too hard to get. It does require you to chew like 100 or 200 plus gum, but you can usually AFK like dancing gum. I don't know if enough people actually have that for that to be super useful. But yeah, I am quite laggy right now. Hopefully it isn't affecting the stream too much. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and convert right now. Looks like we'll be getting a little bit more than 120. Maybe like 150 or so. But yeah. Yesterday I managed to... yeah, I don't really play games like that where it is those building... or that genre game, I guess, is not my favorite, but it's kind of interesting that you managed to do that. It's actually a recent update. I think it was the last update before this one. No one does it. It's not worthwhile to do, but it is now in the game. Looks like we got 20 glitchy loot gum, which is nice. One of the other ones, but yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of gums, and honestly, so many of them become useless for grinders. So, it is kind of bad that there's so much just gum floating around that no one will ever use. Like me specifically, I have a decent amount, but I don't even have too much compared to some of the people that play more, like leaderboard players or rebirth grinders or people like that. So there's a lot of gum if you know where to look. I keep seeing people playing. Wow, that was horrible. I didn't know where my thought process was going there, but I don't think there will be actually an Easter event for Ghost Simulator. I think with the devs' timetables, with them trying to get out one or two other games this year, and the fact that like Ghost Simulator has sort of been slowing down a lot recently, that we won't get an update for it. I mean, I could be very well wrong. I was kind of predicting Ghost Simulator would end like 2 years ago or something, and here we are today. But, you know, it could always be that Ghost Simulator ends soon and we don't actually get an Easter event. Yeah, I know a lot of people are around that 1 or 2 rebirths in Ghost Simulator currently. Lot of new people recently. It's kind of weird always doing these streams, and instead of seeing like the people on Discord that I'm used to talking to are always around that 3 to 5 on the lower side and hundreds if they're a big time game grinder. But on YouTube when I do these streams, it's always people come in and they're like, "Oh, I'm still on my first rebirth or haven't rebirthed at all," and seeing that kind of player is kind of cool. Yes, I am almost at 1K subscribers. That's kind of been my low goal. I'm trying not to make a big deal out of it, but the fact that I can monetize at that point is probably the biggest thing from it. But yeah, it's kind of startling seeing that coming up so soon. But yeah, gum grinding right now is not being super efficient. Lots of lag, lots of distractions from doing the stream in general. But yeah, this is kind of the route you want to take though when you do end up grinding gum. I'd recommend grinding gum before rebirthing, since gum's super helpful for during a rebirth to make it faster. For instance, the first time you guys did Backdoor, first time I did Backdoor, took 20 plus hours. With gum, I do it in less than 30 minutes. So that's kind of disgusting when it's put like that. I think, at least. Going from 20 hours to a 30-minute is just makes it sound disgusting. How much pay to win breaks this game. Oh yeah, yeah. I'm glad that people are able to be able to use those rebirth guides and find them. I know, like recently, I know recently I did like a Ghost World guide, and I realized not many people who actually need that will find it. But like rebirths, I know is a big thing that people are find super helpful. So glad that people can find that. Will I have a 1K sub video? I don't know. I don't have any plans for it, and I don't think it'll be anything super special if I do. But we'll see. I do kind of have one idea for a video / stream at some point. I don't know if it's actually a good idea or if it'll actually work, but it's a small thought. I know I said that about another video where I was planning on doing actually let's focus a little bit more. Oh, our gum ran out, but oh, there we go. Oh, nice. Yeah, I know, like, currently, lagging's a big deal on Ghost Simulator. I don't know how much of that's just the Roblox client itself, or how much is some of the client server codes to make sure everything, like, runs or looks smooth while you're playing, but it's kind of interesting. Oh, yeah. Private servers are by far the best thing that you can do in Ghost Simulator if you're trying to grind. Really helpful for ghosts, really helpful for when you're trying to do a rebirth. Like, Overcharge just seems to be wacky with the lag. Like, if you guys saw that, the ghost kind of exploded before the Overcharge visual, and that's quite common. It's kind of weird how it works, but quite a bit of lag is kind of hard. Oh, you still get lag in private servers. I mean, you may even get more since, but I think it's just around that same amount. And mainly focused on those client-side scripts that are running to make sure that the client-side and server-side syncing, to make sure that players are actually able to do what it looks like they can do. Like, the big thing about it is, like, during boss fights for Ghost Simulator. Boss fights are they're very laggy, and it's one of the things that's Ghost Simulator is kind of known for, is having those laggy boss fights. But the reason behind that kind of makes sense when you think about it, and it's mainly due to like the attacks. If you have your attacks just all client side, which would be the fastest way, the boss ends up, like, all the collisions and stuff is all going to be that client side collision stuff. And if the client side can hit, or the server side, if it looks like you on your computer aren't touching like lava or something, it could be that your client side of your character is somewhere completely different, like actually still on the ground or something, and you could get hit despite being on your screen not touching it, which can get really annoying really quickly in like a high-paced boss fight. And so you have to have that client-side script to actually update based off what you're touching and based off where you are and you're shooting. And then you realize that takes a lot of client resources to do all that management, and it starts becoming a problem with the syncing too. But yeah, it turns into a pretty bad mess pretty quickly when you're trying to do all of those things at once. Looks like we are dropping the Wi-Fi. Hopefully stream doesn't crash. Or if it does, it decides to do it with a little bit of dignity. It looks like we are going to just crash. And I accidentally opened something, so we'll close that. Alright, hopefully the stream's still running and it was just Roblox that decided to crash, but, who knows? Maybe I'm just, like, mumbling or something and no one knows what's really going on during the stream. What are the boards and pets in the streams? I decided not to have a face cam this stream, and so I decided to just leave up a slideshow with random pets and boards going up, to keep you guys entertained. Take the place of a face cam. I wonder if egg drop's been up there recently. I know egg drop's sort of one of the things I'm... Man, it looks like the glitchy loot gun was ticking down like while we were not connected but connected or something. That was interesting. Or maybe a who knows? Whatever the case is, doesn't really matter. We have a lot of glitchy loot gum and a lot of time, so yeah, it was more of I just didn't want to like set up a green screen and then actually worry about the face cam and all those other things. I was being lazy on this stream. Alright, we're going to go ahead and convert just since we are new to the server and it'll give some time for ghosts to spawn for the first time. Using an auto clicker to enter items. I know during one stream someone said something about me clicking super fast. Not really, I'm just using a thing. Looks like we got 10 glitchy loot gum, which is quite a bit. But yeah. We're also on the daily leaderboard if anyone wants to see me out. But yeah, hopefully I do get that glitchy rift gum so I can make use of this double gem event. If not, I mean, if not, that's no surprise. But if I do, that would be ridiculous. And we'll probably actually have to do like a stream on Monday or Sunday or something to use it, which would be really hype. Since I've been really wanting to get a cosmic wing since like a year ago or something. Since it's really cool, really high stats, really helpful for someone like me, and also not very laggy. Oh wait, that's a different problem. Does glitchy nitro loot gum quintuple? No, it still does the same multiplier to the amount of loot you get as the base loot gum. So rather than giving you like, it basically is a combination of nitro, so it makes your hoverboard faster, and loot gum, which increases the amount of items you get. So it's no real reason to use that more than the nitro or more than loot gum itself. So yeah. I mean, in theory, it could speed up grinding a little bit since you are spending quite a bit of time hoverboarding, but not really worth the uncontrollability of it. Yeah, get good. Yeah, that's kind of the only solution to this lag is just play better, which I think is obviously not a good solution since it's not really something in my control. But yeah, on the leaderboard we're number 12, which isn't actually that good, all things considered. I don't think I've even played maybe I've played an hour, but I've not been playing too much, all things considered. Leaderboards become a lot easier on Ghost Simulator. If you guys ever want to, you can pretty easily go and just like play for 3 or 4 hours, grinding like this or grinding bosses or something, and get like number 1 on the leaderboard if you guys think that's a cool idea, and are into that kind of thing. I've only done that once since time-wise doesn't really worth doing again. I always forget how useless jump crates are, but yeah. I guess we're just going. I'm clicking. There we go. Now overcharge is working. Yeah. Yeah, it looks like lag just doesn't like the stream for some reason. Yuwu is not really, like, don't focus on those quests. Think of, like, Gramps and Yuwu, more of those passive things that you'll get eventually while playing the game normally. Like, especially Yuwu, just, like, you'll grab a race every once in a while, and, like, a few weeks you'll finish, like, the second quest or something. But not something where you're like, oh, I need to do 300 races today to complete Yuwu. You do it over the course of like 3 months, a year or something, and it'll eventually get done. Like even I'm still working on Yuwu, and I kind of been kind of been lazy on the actual grinding of Ghost Simulator recently. So yeah, taking those slow is the way to get them done. Like even Gran, you can run through Gran, but you can also just grind for other stuff and you'll eventually get the gums anyways. Alright, is there a boss that spawned? Not yet. The lag is getting kind of ridiculous, so I was looking to see if there's a boss that I could do to do something productive while not worrying about too much about the lag issue that's been going on. Goodbye. Thank you for coming out to the stream. It really helps. It's really nice to see people coming out to the streams and talking in chat. At least makes the audio a little bit more interesting for the other people listening to the stream if I'm replying to other people. At least I like to think that. This update could... I understand why this update was small. And it's not too much of a surprise. Especially since the devs have other stuff they're working on. I'm really excited to see what new games they have coming out. They haven't really released any details that I know of so far as to what games they're working on or how they'll be played or anything like that. So it's just going to be a kind of a nice little surprise when we get whole new games coming out and what they end up being. Yeah, I don't really stream too often, and half the time when I'm streaming, it's lagging so hard you don't really know what's going on. I think probably the only good stream that I know I'll be doing in the hopefully near future would be if I get a glitchy rift gum. I would end up doing an unboxing stream where I just unbox for... Overcharge is just being the worst right now. Alright, I did manage to get that before the loot gum wear off, but still, the fact that I didn't do it the first 3 times I clicked is kind of annoying. But thank you though for that, like, subscribing and stuff. That really helps out quite a bit. I mean, once I get 1,000, it won't, but until I hit 1,000, every subscriber really matters. After that, it's more of the watch time, I think, for just the ad revenue. I mean, watching my content's still amazing, but I don't know if subscribers really play too much of a part after that point, is what I was trying to say. Hopefully that came across correctly instead of it sounding like I was being rude or anything, but I don't really know how my tone comes across. No, I'm not. I don't really follow any, like, truly Roblox, updates or events or stuff like that. I'm more of, like, specific games on Roblox rather than the Roblox platform itself. Um, never really understood too much the social part of Roblox, or really any games social-wise. Been mainly for gameplay on games rather than, like, oh, we have this big event, or, where people get together, talk to... I never understood that, really, for anything, so not planning on going there. Can I do a vid of NPC design? I'm assuming you're talking about how the NPCs look. I'm not really too much into, like, I'm not good at art. I don't really understand how stuff looks good. And that's also a very arbitrary, in my opinion at least, very arbitrary thing. About, like, how design works. So there's a lot of reasons why I don't think I'd make a good video on that, and so I'm not. But yeah. What's the new content? Newest update was really small. It consisted of, let me read the about section. It updated the store with some new stuff that'll be coming over both today for Stealth and then in the next week for these two. There's a new social media code, which is going to be Night Puppy for anyone who hasn't entered that already. And a Double Gems weekend, along with, like, 2 bug patches, which I didn't particularly need to worry about. So yeah, nothing super big on the update. But because of that gem up event, I am deciding to try to get a glitchy rift gum by hopefully grinding some gum, to maybe be able to monopolize on that and get quite a bit of gems. Potentially, probably won't get a glitchy rift gum, so it's not like that's going to happen super easily. But yeah. But yeah, that's the main thing we're doing. This is I think this is what most people would use for the most efficient grind route in, like, Backdoor for gum. But, like, really whatever you end up doing and can do is going to work fine. I'm currently in a private server, so I can avoid people, so I don't get people competing for ghosts and stuff. But yeah. Has the final boss glitch been fixed? No. Final boss is still really laggy, and some sort of desync between servers and clients is still causing the boss to get a miscalculated Y altitude, so still have that problem. What's a glitchy rift gum? It's a really rare gum. It's a classified rarity from gum machines. It's the same rarity, or not quite the same, but you can think of it as basically as rare as, like, a normal classified, so it's really hard to get. And it basically multiplies the amount of... Overcharge is the worst sometimes. It multiplies the amount of gems you get, both from ghosts, but also mainly from the loot bags by, like, 155 times or something ridiculous like that. So you're able to, like, if you have a bunch of anonymous loot bags stored up, you can go ahead and open, like, 1,000 or 2,000 of them at a time with it to get a few billion gems. So that's kind of what it is. It's really good. It does take a little bit of time to get, but can like escalate the amount of gems you get quite a bit. There's also a basic and a ghostly, like, all gums, but I don't think anyone ever cares about those or uses them, just since there's no reason to do that much grinding for it and then have worse than 155 times. Especially since, like, basic might be easier to get, but ghostly is definitely harder to get than glitchy, just because there's less of the good item drops in Ghost World than there are in Backdoor. Do I think there will be a Backdoor puzzle? I think eventually the devs will be like, oh, puzzles were cool in the other areas. Why not add one to Backdoor? I don't think it'll really fit with what theme they have going currently, since they're kind of adding on a new area to Ghost World. So it kind of branches there from the normal game progression on what they're actually updating. So like they're kind of going, main hub was in the main hub puzzle was kind of in their second arc progression, since that's where their first second arc NPCs were related. Then they added an NPC in the Ghost World along with a new portal. So at that point, it was like, okay, they're working on second arc NPCs in the Ghost World, so they decided to add a puzzle there. But in that new portal, it won't be going to Backdoor, so it wouldn't be kind of, they're doing second arc over in this new world, and then they go back and do a different puzzle, and Backdoor won't quite work together. So they may not because of that, but I kind of would expect for them to add something in Backdoor puzzling. I really do hope, though, if they do add another puzzle, for them to have more hints this time, since the last puzzle I spent way too long doing absolutely nothing puzzle related, just since there's no hints on where people should go or what they should use or how they should use it. So I really hope they add more puzzles and actually make it like doable this time, rather than just chucking a lot of random stuff at it. Like, I don't think anyone has figured out what the second part of the Ghost World puzzle actually means. We just have the combo, and that is the most we have. And it's kind of silly, in my opinion, to have a puzzle where no one actually understands the solution to it. You need to have some hints so people can figure out the solution using the hints and know which way to go, instead of just chucking random numbers at them. Is it... Ooh, if you buy something like that, you guys can go the Discord for Ghost Simulator. It's in their about section on the bottom, and you can definitely talk to the devs about having that, having the purchase like redone or something. You can also probably pretty easily trade the older Godly for the newer one. Probably may take a few weeks to do, but it shouldn't be too difficult. But yeah. Is a Champion and a Fury Flight for a Cohen K hoverboard a good trade for me? I would say Champion and Fury Flight are useless and worthless, whereas Cohen K hoverboards at least looks cool. So I'd say having the Cohen K hoverboard's good, but honestly all those are pretty low and worthwhile, so it's really doesn't matter trade-wise. You can definitely make suggestions in their Discord about like names of NPCs or new NPCs that you want added to the game. So if you think you have a good name for an NPC, or you want a specific name, you can always suggest that in their Discord group. They have a channel dedicated for suggestions. It should be in the description of the Roblox game itself. But yeah. But yeah, so far most of the puzzles have been second arc related, so having something, I guess wouldn't be too weird having something second arc related in Backdoor, since there are those remnant messages scattered around still. Actually, now that I think about it, those remnant messages scattered around in Backdoor kind of don't make sense now that there's an addition of a whole new world. Like, why would there's no second arc NPCs in Backdoor, so there's no real reason for second arc lore to be in Backdoor right now. So we'll see how that develops, though, since there's still quite a bit of second arc that needs to be added. I think there's already a board named Arachnid, or if you're saying that you had the concept for that, I know the Discord has like a place for concepts, and a lot of people do have concept boards that they've like created and had added in games, so which turn out really cool. But yeah. Yeah, the Discord's a great place if you do play Ghost Simulator quite a bit. Like just for like adding your suggestions or just getting updates, announcements to know what the updates are, codes so you know what those are. Another one that I know a lot of people go for Discord for. I mean, if you're into chatting, you can do that. I know some people just don't really care about it. There's also like trading that you can do there. They have like trading channels and stuff. And also advice for trading, since I know a lot of people when they're new to games end up like getting sharked or something out of items, and not like when you're new to a game and don't understand like value or anything in a game, it's best just to not trade anything until you do get like advice and understand how the economy is working and stuff for the game. But I know a lot of people just go straight in trading and end up losing a lot of cool stuff that they had got, to people being rude with trading. Oh, how do I get the Lucky Cat? It's part of it's a rebirth perk, specifically the Lucky Eyes rebirth perk. Gives you lucky when you do defeat the Lucky Cat. It gives you a Lucky Cat loot bag, which can give you some cool. Mainly, it's going to be the pet that you get from it. That's what people care about. It can give you a really good stat mythical pet, which is really helpful for new players and even super helpful for people like me. I could still technically use one of those maxed out. It's slightly better in terms of currency than one of the pets I'm currently using. So yeah, Lucky Eyes is definitely one of the good rebirth perks, especially since the bag itself isn't multiplied by any loot drops. So if you're a free to play, you always get the same amount as like a pay to win like me, which is really helpful if you're new. Since that allows you to grind at a good enough space without them like it being super overpowered for the endgame people. But yeah. My favorite rebirth perks are going to be the Tycoons, just since they stack infinitely and are like super good, all things considered. And it looks like we are getting an update, but yeah, honestly, Tycoons, they stack so amazing. The one problem with Tycoons is converters are currently like so bad. It takes forever to convert any amount of gems from them. But yeah, definitely Tycoons. I know Ghostly Vision and like Lucky Eyes, those are really good for new players if you're only getting like one or two, and super helpful even if you are getting a lot, since those are like permanent stuff and they always hang around. We're going to go ahead into Backdoor. I know we're in Publix right now, but we're going to go ahead into Backdoor and convert what we have right now, and then try to figure out if we want to go back for private servers or just want to hang out in Publix for a little bit. But yeah. Hasn't been any information on the Discord yet about the update. I'll update you guys when I see information on it. But I'm guessing it's going to just be a little patch update to actually patch one of the things they said they were patching. Looks like we're in 104.1, which isn't, as it was kind of what I expected, so there was just a small little update where it wasn't too big of a deal. As you can see, 104.1. We are going to go convert all of this auto clicker. Still haven't got an announcement on that, so on the update, so we'll see. Man, it's still ridiculous to me how many items I get in such a short period now that they buffed how backdoor items work. We didn't get any boss gum and definitely no rift gum, but we did get a fair amount of glitchy gums, which is fine enough on its own. But yeah, if I had to guess, I would guess it is just moving up the spawn for Ghost World a little bit so that people don't get clipped into stuff. But yeah. I was about to go look for an anonymous, but I realized servers just rebooted, so there aren't going to be any bosses spawned. So we're going to go back to a private server. So black screen for a little bit, and then we'll see you guys on the other side. It looks like we did get an announcement. Actually, this pertains to you. Apparently, there was a... Actually, let me just read it, I guess. Ghost Simulator Limited Store Stealth Board Purchase was kind of the title of it. We noticed that while attempting to purchase the new Stealth Limited board, players were given the Jet Racer board from before. This has been fixed in the latest update, and we're going to go through and correct this issue for those affected. Please open a ticket if you have been affected with a screenshot of your transaction history on Roblox and your Roblox user ID. Thank you. That was on Discord. Yikes. I know, like, stuff like that's easy enough to happen, but it's still kind of annoying when to have to go through, like, customer service sort of thing to get stuff like that patched. But yeah, yep, bugs like that happen. It's unfortunate, but oh well. Yeah, I was in a public server for a little bit since it did just update, but teleported back to a private server so I can go back to gum grinding. Yeah, I realized someone did ask about that, so might as well go share their Discord message. Yeah, in general, it's I think when those Roblox purchases are bugged, it's probably the worst for both the developers and the people involved, since the developers know they have to fix it, and the people have to bear with it getting fixed, and it's not a good situation for anyone involved. Anyways, what was I doing? I forgot what I was grinding gum. I think we'll give it a little bit. Ghosts do take a little bit of time to spawn in once you get into the server. Like, you can see some missing ghosts in there. But yeah. Yeah. Updates are sometimes... They haven't had too many actually problems with that. I know, like, one time or actually 2 times, they had the board release like a day or 7 days or so early on accident. Which was kind of funny when it happened, but didn't really affect anything. But, like, recently they've had, like, I think this is, like, the 2nd or 3rd time where I've seen they've accidentally had problems with actually purchasing something, which I don't think the developers... I don't know how it happens, but it's definitely not something the developers want to see. Yeah, there's a lot of things... A lot of working pieces in Roblox, so I know I'm currently working on a small project of myself for Roblox, and there's a lot of stuff that is just, it's crazy how good some of the games are when you actually look into how you actually have to code stuff, and like, developing a game is much more difficult than you think it is. What does Billy even give you? Billy is not worth your time. He gives you I can't remember exactly what it's called, but basically it speeds up your vacuuming while you're vacuuming a ghost. So, as you're vacuuming it, you're going to vacuum a little bit faster. So it's useless if your vacuuming goes fast already, but if your vacuuming goes slow, it'll increase the rate of you vacuuming yeah, okay, it's confusing to say. It makes sense when you understand what it does, but for most people, I'd say it's pretty non-helpful, mainly since people have good stats with just codes. But yeah. Yeah, honestly, I don't think I think I've completed like Billy like 3 times in my 15 rebirths. No, Rowan gives overcharge. Rowan from Data Stream, it gives you the overcharge. Billy gives you something useless. I missed the lore and events before 2021's end of Thanksgiving. I don't think anyone was paying attention to lore and events until like Halloween, I think, of last year. It's ridiculous. No one's cared about lore and events, and most people that did care about lore just assumed there wouldn't be permanent lore hidden in events, which apparently is false, but you know, I don't think I care either way. I'm not really too much into the lore of Ghost Simulator. Like, I follow it, but I'm not too big into like actually dissecting it or caring about staying updated on it. Like, currently I'm 3 quests out of loop from their current second arc storyline. I haven't done Hikari, I haven't done Cheshire, and I haven't done Agent Riley or Associate Riley, whatever her name is. And so any of the lore that they have, I don't really know. Yeah, Billy takes way too long. Doesn't help he's in a bad area, but like some of his later quests require so many rare ghosts rather than like Rowan or Riley, who require just a small amount of ghosts, or even like Rowan, I think is just like 8 normal ghosts from each area, which is ridiculously easy compared to like Billy, who requires like 40 rare ghosts. The discrepancy is ridiculous. It takes you like a minute, takes you like 2 minutes to get the blocks or the agent's HQ. Yeah, I know it does take a little bit for you to get those stats. I think the main thing is like just final boss can be a decent way to get good pet stats, or like rebirthing for ghostly vision pets or something like that. But yeah, I know some people struggle a little bit with the time it takes to get those. That's just kind of how beginning game is. Game doesn't get too much better when you can vacuum ghosts quicker. Yeah, this overcharge is not wanting to cooperate this time. We are still on the leaderboard, and we've actually moved up quite a bit, which is kind of surprising, but yeah. You know, the discrepancy there is quite funny in my opinion. I mean, there's bigger discrepancies in the game. For instance, like how fast Backdoor goes by for someone like me versus a new player. But I think that's like it's definitely why he got on my most useless quests video, is just the ridiculousness of him. At least I think I included him. He may have got pushed out from some of the other more ridiculous quests, but you know, I think he was on there. Is Ella the only event Ghost Hunter? Actually, Bo was originally from the space event, I think, or no, Dino event. Bo was originally in there, and now he's in the original game. I don't know if you really want to count Bo. He's sort of a special case, it feels like. But yeah, Ella is definitely one of the first ones to make that transition from event to main game, if you aren't counting Bo. Oop. 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 Which quest lines are not really worth doing? I actually have a recent video, actually, on quests that aren't worth doing. There's a few more than I covered in that video, but basically it's going to be like infinite quest lines are definitely not worth doing. Luna, Blaze, for main hub. Dylan's definitely not worth doing, just since they take forever. Billy is not worth doing. Jax isn't worth doing. Let's see. Shelly really isn't worth doing. Yeah, it's like more than half the quests. There's a lot of quests I'm forgetting here that are also not worth doing. I think mainly it's going to be just doing those perk quests. So like Adam, Jesse, Finsley, and Main Hub, Leo and Yoko, Gatekeeper and Fern in the Ghost World, and then like Riley and Rowan in Backdoor is literally the only quest you really should be doing. I mean, obviously you need to do Agent Blaze and the dev quests in the Void, but really, there's like so many quests that no one really ever should be doing at this point. But yeah, it's kind of makes sense, but it's kind of weird how there are so many quests like that. I'm personally holding out hope that we get some balance to infinite quests, since infinite quests seem like a really good way to add a new grinding aspect to the game. But currently they're just so useless. It's kind of annoying. Like big thing would be like if they had permanent perks, like for instance more like pet space or something like that, or more board space, more gem boost, more currencies, like just something permanent so people could like be like, oh, I want to grind some infinite quests just to get some more boosts or more pet spots or something like that. Would be kind of cool. And I know that'd be difficult, but you know. I mean, another thing they could do is just increase the amount of gems you get, so it's actually useful for some players at least. But, you know. I'd prefer it if it was also an end game thing and also a mid game thing and like an everything thing where everyone benefits from grinding them, but hey, you can't have everything. So. Yeah, don't really worry about the Illins. They're not worth doing for most players. The pets they give are meh best. This is what I'm saying. Overcharge just isn't working today. It's always the second overcharge too. Like the first overcharge works no problem, but the second one just refuses to happen. It's probably just like the timing of lag coinciding nicely, but it's still annoying. We are going to go ahead and grab a boss now. Look at me, I'm still on the leaderboard. But yeah. Yeah, no, doing the Dylans isn't really worthwhile. Even like doing the one, like Ovin's, like Bovin and Joven, those are decent, I guess. Since permanent pet space is helpful. But they still do take quite a bit of time, so you may want to wait till you can easily do them. But still. It's definitely some of the more time-wasting quest lines to be doing. Yeah, Family Tree of the NPCs is definitely confusing. I've never really followed like lore or connections like that, so I can't help you on that, and I understand what you mean by that to an extent. As I said, I haven't really done them, so don't specifically know that it's confusing, but I know it was too confusing for me to try to think about. But yeah. I hope with this update being kind of small, it means that either we're going to have a big update in one of the next like 2 updates, maybe like the new world gets released or something, or they release one of their new games, because if they release a new game soon, that would be really nice, since I've been kind of bored recently, I guess would be the best way of putting it, where I've been just not having something fun to play that I want to like do a video on. So mainly since like any videos I do on games like other than Ghost Simulator usually don't get too many views, since that is kind of my audience is coming from Ghost Simulator. So if I do like a Minecraft video, even though Minecraft's more popular in Ghost Simulator, everyone that usually watches my videos like, oh, another Minecraft video, just not going to watch it, which makes sense. And honestly, it's kind of fine with me. I'm like, Minecraft I do more for the fun of it than actually for content. And honestly, not much to really cover in Ghost in Minecraft that isn't already being covered a million times. So, um, yeah. Anyways, there we are. We are we aren't that. We haven't even done that much grinding for the leaderboard, but we still pretty decent spot on it. We're going to go ahead and convert again. I just want to keep this keep converting every once in a while. Mainly just so I have something else to do other than just grinding gum, but also just to keep a little bit. If I do end up getting a rift gum, I can just sort of stop, since I don't want to really overgrind too much. Grinds all 5,000 gums or something and get in the first 100. But yeah. Now, even if we don't get a glitchy rift gum, we still are getting quite a bit of boss gum, quite a bit of glitchy gum, or loot gum, sorry. Did we just overcharge? Yeah, we overcharged. That's going to be annoying. There should be a third ghost in each biome, and they're really rare to appear. Like, for example, the swamp zone has a frog ghost. You know what? That's not a horrible idea. I think the big thing is it just doesn't fit with how they've designed their game so far. At all. Like, they originally designed their game without that, so adding it in now just makes zero sense. They could do it in, future areas, I could see. Like how in the Void, there's only one ghost in each area, rather than the rare and common ghost that's in most other areas. But yeah, I don't really think they'll be doing that. If anything, they'll do what they've done with bosses or something, like the Ghostly Vision bosses and the Lucky Cat ghost, where they add ghosts through a special perk that spawn in that area. But even that is kind of unlikely. I don't think they'll be playing with specific areas too much going forward. Alright, overcharge is recharged, so we'll go back to grinding. How long have I been streaming? Oh, I've actually been streaming for over an hour. It has not felt that long. Maybe because I actually haven't done too much, but, you know. Maybe it's just because I've actually had people in the stream to keep me distracted. Yeah, people chatting in stream makes it much funner for me, at least. Being able to answer questions or reply to a comment or something inside chat, compared to if no one says anything. I know it probably also makes it more interesting for you guys, so that's good to see. But yeah. Now this stream was kind of, when I saw the update, they released the update a little bit before I started the stream, I'm like, oh, a nothing update. How am I going to make a stream out of this? And I'm like, we'll just grind some gum or something. Do something I was going to do anyways, and just call it a stream. But the fact that there was at least something interesting, there was at least, at least something related to grinding, with the gem event, at least gives me a little bit more incentive, this stream stayed on topic or something. It's definitely not an off-topic stream, but, you know. Alright, we'll grab these ghosts. We are actually making good progress for having this overcharge. Alright, there we go. I was about to say we're making good progress on this cycle actually being completed. And then the overcharge. I don't know what's with that. It just isn't working today or something. But yeah. No, this is definitely a nice stream. It's good that at least the backdoor music is working. I know currently the Ghost World's music has been broken for a little bit. So there's at least something other than just me chatting and the sound of ghosts. But yeah. There should be Lucky Gum, and it makes you see Lucky Cats for 120 seconds. But yeah, that completely invalidates the purpose of the Lucky Cat Rebirth perk. completely obliterates the whole reason for it existing in the first place. Although you can overcharge the Lucky Cat Ghost in the back door before you get the perk. So if you follow like the cycle of the Lucky Cat spawns, which are on the wiki, you can actually get the Lucky Cats before you unlock the perk, which is also defeats the purpose, but there's a little bit more to it since you do kind of have to follow the specific spawns and stuff, and know where it's happening and when to overcharge and stuff like that, and not have a cat run in front of your screen while you're trying to grind ghosts. That was a me problem specifically, but yeah, no, there's a lot of cool features that people are like, that people really would like to make their lives easier. That kind of defeats the whole purpose of like Ghost Simulator in general. Like I know one of the bigger ones for like, okay, this is ridiculous, cat. You're like completely in my way. I know one of the things that I know even endgame people have kind of said that I think would kind of be game breaking for it, would be adding something like a crate key converter where you turn in gems. The cat's really insisting on being in the way today. Where you can convert like gems to crate keys, which just completely defeats the purpose of the void crate actually being difficult to get and not costing gems in the first place. So yeah, there's like that's probably the thing that I've seen from the most endgame people. I know a lot of new players always have suggestions that usually influence from other games that they really like. I know I've done stupid suggestions in games I'm new to, like that, but where you like suggest something like triple open because it's in another game that's super popular that you like to play, or other stuff like that, which just don't fit into Ghost Simulator itself, or would break the game, or just isn't something that most of the community would actually care for. Like, you know, making Backdoor easier. That might be something they actually end up doing, is tying like where you can actually choose a path to go down. Like currently it's just been follow the dialogue and try to understand what the story is doing, which I don't think anyone actually cares about dialogue. I say that hesitantly. I know there are some people, big lore fanatics, that do read the dialogue, but I think most casual players don't care at all what's going on in the story. They're just playing for this simulator grind aspect of it. And so like the story kind of is meaningless in that way, but actually having them be able to choose like what to do could make people a little bit more into the story, I guess, maybe. But yeah, it's interesting how much the game realizes. Oh, it's been so long since I played Ghost Simulator, and there's been so many changes to the early part of it that I wasn't really even aware that they have like a cutscene at a welcome cutscene like that. So that's kind of interesting. Alright, we've been streaming for about an hour and a half already, which I think is about as ridiculous as it sounds. I think I'll probably be doing another 30 minutes, which will probably be about another 10 gums. Maybe not. We'll see. But yeah, probably won't get a glitchy rift in that, but as I said, this stream was more of a, oh, I made a stream on an update that didn't have any content on it, so might as well do something else that's vaguely related and interesting, sort of stream, so. Not too big of a deal. My cat has stopped walking in front of my computer screen. So that's definitely a bonus. Yeah, I know YouTube can be a really bad rabbit hole sometimes, where you end up getting like, you start playing for a few minutes and, or you start watching like for a few, like you're like, oh, I'll see what this is. And then an hour later you realize you've been watching for that long and you're like, oh, well, I guess that's where my whole day went. I kind of prefer it if people are like actually being productive or in like playing themselves or doing homework or something while watching the streams. But I know sometimes you just need that relaxation of watching something. So. Alright, one of the things I was noticing is that there is an anonymous boss, so we'll go ahead and grab that. Do we have enough items to warrant a conversion? Or no? Let's see. $400. We'll do like 2 or 3 more cycles. Yeah, here's the thing. Think about the names for like new areas or ghost hunters. Really serves no purpose, really, since it's not really the name that says much about a ghost, about something. Brings to mind that the quote from Romeo and Juliet, I think, where a rose by any other name would be just the same. So the name isn't really specific or matters too much. It's more of like thinking about like how the area would look, how it would function, NPCs, what their character would be like, would be something, and a lot of other stuff where it's not really about the name, it's more about those characteristics of the idea rather than the actual name itself. Yeah, it's interesting how I was so set on a prediction with that. They've been so far following with the second arc, following the NPC placements on their first time through the game. So for Adam, you have Morgan. For Jesse, you had Rose, where it was always in that same area. And then they did that same thing. Like, before they were just sort of following the antenna levels, but when they added one to Backdoor, it became so obvious that they're following the NPCs, whereas, like, Blaze and Hikari, they basically are the same NPC, but for different storylines. And then they have Luna from the first original story, after Blaze, which is in main hub in the forest. And I'm like, oh, so that's going to be the next NPC that they make a clone of-ish. But then they didn't follow that same thing and instead skipped straight over to Ghost World. And it was so weird that they would follow the NPC placements for those, for Blaze, and then just skip over Luna. It was kind of weird. But yeah. I would say stick to your current thing, like starting something new. I know a lot of people I know starting something new is always fresh, but like staying on the same thing for a while is so much more rewarding, I think, in the long term. Like sticking to the same account and playing the game a lot on one account makes it so much more rewarding than like following starting over a lot. Which I guess explains why I'm so bad at like speedrunning stuff. I can't really do that restart constantly. I don't think I've even tried speedrunning anything recent ever. Like, I know it's been a fad on YouTube for a while, but I don't even think I've tried it before when it was, well, before I started YouTube or before I was cared about my YouTube channel or stuff like that. So, I mean, might be my opinion on that, but also just not my style, I guess. Yeah, I should... Man, I really want to get a glitchy rift gum. And I'm tempted to just trade for one, since I know there's a few out there that probably could easily trade for, especially with my inventory. I have a decent amount of random old stuff that I don't particularly care about. But the thing is, I want to grind stuff myself, kind of, too. And so it's kind of this thing where, should I trade for a glitchy rift gum for some, like, just to make it happen, or should I continue grinding for it to make it more interesting for myself? Yeah, that's definitely one of the overcharges. Just weird today. Yeah, that NPC, similar to some of the other NPCs that have been added, is more of just a reference to one of the Discord members that's in the community. She's currently an admin now. But basically, it's kind of them represented as an NPC, and so it's a lot of cheesiness and stuff like that. And she's more of just a side thing where it doesn't really matter, but yeah. You should use Rift Gum and Void. I've actually already done that to test the multiplier. I would definitely recommend everyone against using it in Void. It's absolutely useless and gets you no gems. The better way to use a Rift Gum would be to save up Rift bags, or not Rift bags, Anonymous bags, or Jolly Roger bags, or even race bags can be used. And unbox those while using it, since these give you, like, I think it's 10 to 25,000 per bag normally, but then you have to multiply that by 155 times. Since I have double gems, times another 2. Since it's a double gems event, times another 2. Times whatever this is, 84%, which not too much. But anyways, and you can open like a few thousand of those at a time, whereas when you're grinding like ghosts in the void, you can only get like 100 ghosts. So 100 times like a base of 1,000. I don't even think it's 1,000, but we'll say it's 1,000 to give it a good comparison, versus 1,000 times 10,000. You can see why there's a big difference between why you shouldn't really use it on void ghosts. Is you and Gramps and Grant's quests worth it? Those quests, they're more of like something to do in the side as you're playing through the game normally. So rather than like focusing on their quests like you would for, let's say, Adam, and specifically playing the game to complete those quests, more of just like collect them, and then like while you're playing the game, you'll eventually complete them, and then you can go back and start working on the next one for that specific person. In general, I'd say yes, they definitely are worth it, since they do give you quite a bit of new stuff. But I also wouldn't specifically grind for them. You're better off just like playing the game normally, and you'll eventually get around to them if you play it for long enough. Gran is probably the one exception. Grinding out gum can take a little bit of time, but also isn't too difficult if you have like dancing gum, where it can take 30 seconds per gum. And you can just grind through that, and getting that gum hotkey really speeds up grinding. Like, it's ridiculous how helpful it is compared to the old method. Old method being you have to open your inventory, go find the gum you're using, and go click on it. Here you can just go click T or on the side of your screen, and your gum's being used. But yeah. Oh yeah, event towers were kind of cool. I mean, it was definitely geared more towards like endgame people who actually understood how to do stuff. I know new players struggle a lot when it comes to hard content like bosses and stuff. So not always the best. But yeah, the update's been out for a while now. It was almost nothing changed in it. It was this 2-time double gems event. update to the store, currently just stealth, and then also a new code, which is going to be Night Puppy, which gives you a hedgehog pet, I think. I've already entered it, but it gives you... Let's go find the pet. It's a hedgehog thingy. Yeah, with a developer meme in it. But yeah. We're going to go ahead and see if Anonymous is spawned, turn in our gum, and then... Yeah, grab Anonymous, and then turn in our gum, and see what it is. I think it's meant to convey personality when you see, like, whatever the dialogue for NPC says, it's meant to convey, like, their personality. Like, I know Adam, like, he's meant to kind of seem like this, distracted, busy person. Since that's kind of like City Life works, and that's kind of where he's positioned. But, yeah, that's kind of just his personality is why it's written that way. I don't think anyone particularly reads dialogue from the first, like, 5 NPCs that they meet in the game. I don't think anyone actually reads most NPC dialogue. Like, even I don't read most of the NPCs. If I do care about, like, NPC dialogue, I'll just go read it off the wiki after the fact. When I'm doing, like, quests, it's just spamming space to those dialogue boxes. It's not something. Anyways, let's see. How long is this stream been going? An hour and 45. That's actually, a minute and 36. 45 was when I started streaming, and then I got distracted for 9 minutes, and then I went live. Okay. But yeah, we'll probably like 15 more minutes. Maybe less, maybe more. Depends on whether or not we get a glitchy rift gum, on this, or if we... Guess it also depends on how I feel. So... Depends on a few factors. Hopefully we do get a glitchy rift gum and I can just call it good, but, you know, it's like a 1 in a 10,000 or 100,000 chance. It's unlikely that I'm going to get it in any time in the near future, let alone, like, on this stream. It'd be ridiculous if I did, but no, not really expecting that. What was my favorite event? It would have to be the Halloween event, from 2019. That was the first event I played, so I might be a little biased because of that. It also was the first one of the Mega Boss. Maybe biased because of that. May have been because I had a lot of time and tried grinding quite a bit during it. But yeah, I think that was overall my favorite. I really liked how it was structured. I think the fact that they continued... I feel like they may have overused that template, but it was definitely a good template for events. But yeah, that was definitely my favorite event. Alright, we did manage to get 2 glitchy boss gum from that, which is kind of nice. But yeah, I wonder how much glitchy boss gum I have and how much that would be if I did that many bosses. We almost have 50 glitchy boss gum, which... would be about 400 blocks by keys if I use them all. I mean, technically, equivalency-wise, 50 glitchy boss gums is exactly equivalent to 300 blocks by keys, not 400. Although 400 is how many you'd get if you used them all. But yeah. Yeah, that was like 10 minutes of grinding, if less. Grinding gum is ridiculously fast. For people like me with both the Game Pass and glitchy loot gum. There's a reason I do glitchy loot gum giveaways in my Discord server, and it's because I know I get it super easily, and I know other people really can make good use out of it too. So yeah, but yeah, it's kind of interesting. I know a lot of... Ooh, your favorite event was Easter 2020? I think that was the one with Mini Fluff. That one was good, mainly because it was also incorporated into a good Roblox event, and also pretty easy for new players, so, and a lot of new players too, so a lot of new people came in during that. It So it's going to be a lot of people's like first event and when they're first introduced to. Yeah, we're just going to ignore those ghosts, pretend they don't exist. But yeah, that's definitely was a good event too. Yeah, nope. The event tower for the last Christmas. The big joke is the Riley during that she was in that event as an NPC with a quest, and her quest basically how do you go defeat 109 of towers, which were each around 12 to 15 minutes long, I think. I don't remember the exact length, but it was just a ridiculous amount of time spent playing that event for anyone grinding for that specific quest. And really, those pets in board, they didn't really even have good stats. They were just godlies, and so a lot of people were just sort of annoyed at that specific quest. So that's where that joke comes in with the event towers. It's only if you really played the Christmas event quite a bit would you understand. I know most people casually playing the event didn't really notice that. They probably were like, oh, this quest got through the first tower. They're like, oh, 5 more towers? Not going to do those. And just wouldn't even realize that there was 109 total towers in that quest. But yeah, it was an interesting event. I did manage to get it, but definitely it towered me out for a while, having to do that many. I'm sure I could have turned that into a much better pun. I'm realizing now that could have worked so much better as a pun if I was actually trying to make it one. But yeah. Probably use like, after this gum's over, use like 3 more gum. So like 6 more minutes, 7 more minutes. Before ending the stream. And end the stream. We'll be ending the stream soon is what I'm trying to say, I guess. Oh, you just got to overcharge? That's really nice. I know overcharge is probably... Rowan's is one of the easier ones to do, and he actually has a useful perk too, so it's definitely very nice that you managed to get it. I think the big thing that you can use with that is you can go ahead and get lucky cats for stats, overcharging in the back door. I have a video about that, how to get like good pets or something. Basically, you overcharge in lucky cat positions to get lucky loot bags early and abuse a glitch, but yeah. I don't really know exactly what you're talking about. I'm assuming it's just Roblox in general, which I'm not going to comment on since if I do say anything about Roblox's moderation or anything, I don't really know exactly what I'm talking about since the only experience I've had really with Roblox moderation has been positive, which sounds kind of weird, but like my brother had an old account that he kind of lost, and he was able to recover it pretty easily without too much problems through Roblox support, and I've never really been moderated at all. Any moderation account taken on my Roblox account, so it's not like I've had any bad experiences, so... If I do say... Okay, I realize I just did comment on it, but, you know... The reason why I don't try to say anything is because either I say something that I either don't agree with, or I say something that you guys don't understand, but yeah. And, like, discussing how someone got banned... 1, it can be taken either too personal, but 2, the bigger one, not always safe for content-wise. Alright, we'll overcharge. I wonder if... No, Anonymous is spawning next over there in the ice area. But yeah. Yeah, I'm not really following second arc, but I'm assuming, like, being forgotten and something is, like, a horror... Not really horrifying, but it's kind of a creepy topic, and it's kind of sad in that respect. That NPCs just got forgotten and stuff like that, or things like that, so... It's kind of a yikes thing. But I haven't really been following the lore too much, so I don't know the specifics of it. You know what? Gum grinding this way on stream isn't actually going too horribly. And we are lagging a little bit, but we're still like only like, I think, yeah, we're missing about a quarter of what I'd normally be doing, even if I wasn't lagging. So like, it's not affecting me too much, everything considered. Normally I'd be able to complete 2 full cycles of these 4 areas, and right now I'm doing like 1.5, but that's not actually too bad considering I'm also streaming and talking and being distracted and lagging harder. It's pretty good. It does have a minute delay. But you do have to hold down. I know it's kind of hard on mobile. I don't know if it's possible on mobile right now, but I've heard it isn't. I think I've done it before myself. But yeah, it's can be weird on mobile. You just kind of hold down, click on computer, and it works fine. I don't know what it is on Xbox. I don't play on Xbox, and I don't understand Xbox controls. And I got a loot bag. Nice. Yeah, as I said, that's probably the most cheesy thing that you can do, and it's super helpful for new players, and I probably shouldn't be promoting bugs like it, but it's such a time save being able to get those good pets before unlocking it that can't really help myself. And it's sort of one of those bugs where it's a logical one rather than like abuse, go into this corner, do this 3 things, and you can skip 5 hours of a rebirth, where it's a lot more technical. It's more of just a it makes sense, I guess, as a bug, where it's more of something that the devs just didn't think about, rather than a actually abusing something in game. But you know, that line's really hard to draw and will vary from person to person. So, as I said, I probably shouldn't be sharing that bug too much. But yeah. Alright, once we finish up this gum, we are going to go fight Anonymous, turn in the gum, fight Anonymous? Probably turn in gum, then fight Anonymous, and then probably just end the stream there. Since this update really had nothing going on, so grinding gum's more of just been a bonus for the stream. Oh yeah, the story is like the main thing that the developers have been pushing. So anyone actually playing for the story is definitely having like the game kind of made for them in general, and probably getting the most out of it. Whereas those people like me who are playing for like the grindy simulator aspect of it are kind of getting left out quite a bit. So yeah, you're probably enjoying Go Similar more than I am at the moment because of that. But yeah, it's definitely some of the quests do take forever to complete. I mean, I haven't done anything past Hikari, but even doing like Ella, there's like 3 bosses, quite a bit of ghosts. So that would take some time for anyone to do. Yeah, getting addicted to games happens a lot. Looks like we've just barely cleared 100 whatever ectoplasm for the day, which I think is probably a decent stopping point. We'll go teleport over to 16 and then go convert all. Yeah, there's been a lot of recent reasons why you wouldn't want to play Ghost Simulator recently. I think the big one is like the lack of like bug patches in general. There's like so many random broken stuff at this point. It's not even very fun to play. But no, the rebirth perks are definitely cool. It definitely isn't something that you want any more than like 5 or 10 rebirth perks. just since like after that point, there's no real use to them. Oh, we got another 2 glitchy boss gum. That's nice. That's a good amount. But yeah, let's see how much glitchy loot gum I have. Probably around 700. Even though I've done like 0 grinding, it feels like. I know I've just grinded for like an hour, but still, an hour's... I've done 6-hour streams before of grinding loot gum. So it's still a lot of loot gum that I've got. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and finish off Anonymous, and that will be the end of the stream. So great time to ask questions while I'm doing the boss. But yeah. Yeah, I think like converters, currently for endgame players, converters are probably the biggest annoyance in Ghost Simulator. Since you are like rate limited to the amount you convert, it takes like hours to convert even the smallest amount of usable gems for the game. And like people have like billions upon billions of gems worth of ecto tokens or souls just sitting around because they don't want to go AFK for 3 days straight to convert them all. But like in terms of missed opportunities, I still feel like the infinite quest NPCs are probably the biggest thing that the devs could just slightly tweak to make the game a lot more fun to play, since it adds a whole new area of grinding where you just grind for these random ghosts in random areas for kind of a cool thing, but like it would make the game a lot more interesting in my opinion. But yeah, we'll see. The new areas though with the new lore and NPCs and stuff is definitely another cool thing that's going on that people can find interesting. But yeah. Yeah, no. My hope would be my personal pet peeve is like games where they have useless stuff. As you can probably guess from the amount of useless videos I've top 5 useless things in Ghost Simulator videos that I've been releasing recently has been one of those oh, I hope that's not making too much sound. I'm kind of playing around with something. But it's been one of those things like I don't like having useless stuff. I'd rather have them updated so they make sense and are another thing for players to use. So it's been one of those things I've been thinking quite a bit about recently as the game's been slowing down in some cases, but yeah. Why is there no Valentine's Day event? Valentine's Day is a smaller holiday, so there's no real reason to make it an event for it. And then also it's something it's just not big enough, I guess, and also not really specific enough, nor has Ghost Simulator ever had an update for it, or event for it, so they just aren't going to. Oh yeah, the Backdoor's resets on like batteries and vacuums was kind of interesting. I like how it works, since like fits in very nicely and allows the game a fresh start, but it's still kind of weird. But yeah, now that Anonymous is done, I'll take another quick look at the leaderboard, but we're probably just going to call it there. Yeah, look at that. We are number 7 on the leaderboard. But yeah, there's some people who do ridiculous amounts of grinding up here. But yeah. Oh, we managed to end up with this random nonsense at the end. Is there anyone with full zeros at the end? No. No, there isn't. Oh well. Yeah, that's going to be the stream. Yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I've been actually really enjoying this stream, even though the update was nothing, so new content was kind of a lie in the stream title since there wasn't any. But I was hoping for a bit bigger an update, but yeah. Hopefully you guys found this stream interesting, and I will hopefully see you guys in a video or stream later. I don't really know. I don't have too many big plans.